hello, hello. It is your girl V, and welcome to Shorter Tea Tuesdays. I have a special guest. You will definitely, you enjoy all of my segments, but you will definitely enjoy this one. Mrs. Tracy Wilkins Francis. Hello.
Hi.
How are
Thank
you
you so
doing
much for
today?
having me on your show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be on here, first of
Oh,
all,
no
because I know you're a
problem.
busy woman. You're a busy woman. Now, I know that people are wondering, now, who is Tracy? And do you guys see her I'm about to say backdrop, and that's not what that's called, but that screen behind her. Okay, so this is the real life adventures of JoJo Bean. So we're going to talk about who is JoJo, what is Tracy doing. She's an author, she's a mom, she's a wife, she's a business owner. And if you haven't heard of, because I just learned this myself, with the Anna Jean Publishing Company, is that correct?
Annie Jean, yes, that's
Annie
correct.
Jean. Okay. All right. So let's start from the top. Let's. How long?
Okay.
How long you been in business?
I have been in business since 2014, shortly after I closed my dance studio. So, what a lot of people don't know, who may not necessarily know me, is that I had a dance studio for 13 years because I have a performing and dance background. And shortly
Wow.
after my son was born, I closed that studio so I could focus on writing, which is my first love.
Oh, okay. That's
Mhm.
I did not know you were a dancer. Okay.
Yes.
Can we get a couple of moves? I'm just
Uh,
joking. I don't mean
That's for another podcast.
right. That's another segment. So what type of dance? Well, was it just a variety of
It
dancing?
was. I had children and adults,
Okay.
ballet, tap, hip hop, modern, and I even did for the adults. I had this class called Gospel Sides.
Gospel. Now that's so
Yes,
interesting. Okay.
yes,
And so you went back to your first love of
mhm,
writing,
yes,
becoming an author.
yes.
Let's go back
Okay.
even a little bit further years back. Because did you enjoy writing from in high school with poems, and or did it
Mhm.
start even before high school?
It started way before high school. In fourth grade, my friends and I, we would go home and we would create our own stories, and we would take it and make our covers and tie red ribbon around it. So that was our branding.
Oh,
So I always loved to read. I always loved to write. Fast forward to high school, I was involved with the newspaper club and all that. But for some reason, I'm still trying to figure it out to this day, instead of going to school for writing and journalism, which is what I thought I was going to do. 12th grade, I had this revelation that I was going to be this powerhouse on Wall Street. So I went to college and I studied economics.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
You're a powerhouse in your own way.
That's right. That's right.
In your own way. So it's that. So
That's right.
that dream is still here. It's still
Yes.
there.
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness. So that is. I love to hear like how um the dream that you have now, how it came into fruition.
Mhm.
Just from the start. Because I've
Mhm.
had other guests on here where they said, "Well, at first I wanted to do this, and then I went and
Mhm.
tried something else, and then I'm coming right back to where I originally started from the beginning." And I think that's
Right.
just miraculous, just to go with your first love.
Yes. Yes.
So is
Yes.
your son named JoJo?
My son is Joseph, aka the real JoJo Bean. So there's two stories to this how I created the real life adventures of JoJo Bean. So
Okay.
the funny story is when he was about 2years old, my husband and I had all these grandeur ideas about vacation.
Hmm.
We were in La La Land because vacationing with a toddler and traveling all these places, no, it wasn't working. So one I think we went to St. Simon Island and Jekyll Island in Georgia, and then we went to a family reunion. So we drove from Jekyll Island to the family reunion, and we got lost for 4 hours.
4 hours.
And yes, and so to entertain our son, we had the videos, in the back of the car. The car had the DVD. and we heard Barney for 4 hours. And so my
Not
husband was like,
the I love you, you love me.
"That's 4 hours." I'm like, "Oh my goodness, can we please just find this place? Please, please." We're in the backwoods somewhere. I'm like, "We still haven't found it 4 hours later." So my husband said, "Well, one day you're gonna think this is funny." I said, "Yeah, one day, but it's not funny now." And
Right.
then he said, "Well, one day you're gonna write a book about it." I'm like, "Yeah, right, whatever." And fast forward to 2014, he's like, "Remember that idea we was talking about the book? You should write a book." So that's the funny story. But really, what I wanted to do is to provide books for children where the characters are diverse, where the characters look like them, like our brown and black children, as well as other children too. Because my son he still to this day has a lot of diverse friends from different cultures and backgrounds. So I wanted that to be reflected in the books because I didn't see a lot of that on the shelves of Barnes and Nobles and even the library.
Mhm.
Now it's a little better, but still, we still have a lot of work to do because there's a study by the University of Wisconsin, their reading and research institute in 2020 or even 2021, 12% of all books, and I believe this is traditionally published, the characters are black, and it's even less for other cultures and races.
Mm.
So that says something. Years ago it was lower. It's getting there, but it shouldn't be 12%. There are more books about animals as main characters in children's books than there are with children of color, Latinos, African Americans, Native Americans, Muslims, in terms of religion and race. So I wanted to be a part of the solution, and that's when I created the real life adventures of JoJo Bean.
Oh my goodness. I love that. 12%.
12%.
That's
Mhm,
that's low. That's
mhm,
low. And
mhm.
I wonder how much it is now, if it's even gone up to hopefully 20. But to be truthful, I like to see books that have a lot of diversity in it.
Yes, there's something to be said about diversity because it 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 provides a sense of self-esteem for the children
Mhm.
who looks like the characters. For other children, they learn about different cultures or have empathy for one another. I know when
Mhm.
I go out to schools, whether those children are black or Caucasian or Asian, they love JoJo Bean. But when I see the students who are black and brown, I come in with this character and
Mhm.
the mascot and the puppet, their eyes just pop out of their head and they're just so attached to the character because they look like them.
Right. That speaks volumes. I think sometimes I don't think people really understand when
Mm-hmm.
we say, representation means a lot to
It
children.
does. It does.
And sometimes they just feel like, oh no, you're just trying to make it a
Mhm.
race issue. But no,
Mhm.
it's not. It's
It's not.
really just them being able to see someone that looks like them.
Right.
And just like you said, it lights their mind up. It gives them insight and it
Mhm.
makes them interested in wanting to read that story. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I even um was it yesterday? Yesterday or not yesterday, Sunday, we took our son because he's a swimmer. And we took him, we're gonna do a little bit of strength and endurance training with him for the swimming. And we went to speed school, and the owner is black. And just to see that connection, not to say that he can work with anybody else, but just to see that connection and how happy he was and how more in tune and attentive he was when he was giving him the different agility tests to evaluate him for what the plan was going to be. And even
Mhm.
sitting with him afterward, he was like, yeah, okay, okay. There's a difference. There's a difference. The Howard swim team, I was just really so excited to see
Yes.
them on the cover of Sports Illustrated. And I just don't understand why people like don't get it. We're not being racist, but because for years we were always put behind. Imagine if it wasn't the other foot. If you went somewhere and all you saw, you didn't see yourself represented, you start to kind of question yourself a little bit. So,
That's true. That is definitely true. Now, I should have got me a sheet of paper so I can write something down because I have a question for you,
okay.
real quick. Because when you get to saying things, I'm like, ooh, let me go back and ask this real quick. So let me take this note real fast. Um, so you said that he's a swimmer. How long
Yeah,
has he been swimming?
he has been swimming since he was a baby. So
Oh,
he started 3 months in mommy and me classes. Then he started individual classes when he was a year and a half. And as he got older, he liked it more and more and more. So we took him to a local swim school. He went all the way up to master level. He swam recreationally for them at first, but he got to the point where he was bored. He was like, Mommy, Daddy, I'm bored. So then we looked at some of the swim clubs near us, and he tried out for one of them, and they accepted him, and he is a beast in the water. His
oh,
kid is a beast in the water. I'm not just saying that because I'm his mom, and he loves it. It's all about exposure too, because even with that, you don't see many of us at the meets and things like that. But
that
things
is
about
true.
exposure. Hmm.
Definitely. That makes a difference. So I want
Hmm.
to tell you a couple of things. Have you
Hmm.
heard of Swim 1922?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw this plug because
I'm gonna write this down too.
everyone knows I'm always talking about my organization. So my sorority is Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated, and so we have an initiative called Swim 1922. We
Mhm,
partner with USA Swimming, and
mhm,
so it's been
mhm.
since 2000. I'm going to say 2010 or 11. Don't quote me on the time, but it's been over 10, 11 to 12 years. I'm trying to remember, but
Okay.
and so what we do is we have different clinics that are in certain cities because we're
Mhm,
pretty much global.
mhm,
And we have free swim clinics. And our goal
mhm,
is to educate children that drowning is preventable.
mhm,
Because as far as
mhm,
African Americans, we do not get in the
mhm,
water.
mhm,
We're afraid of the water. Our parents are
mhm.
afraid of the water, so that makes
Yep,
us afraid of the water.
yep.
And so it's just to reduce that statistics,
Okay.
and to encourage them to learn how to get in the water and be not to be afraid, but have water
Mhm.
safety tips.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
wanted to share that because when you mentioned that he's a swimmer, and then you said 3 months. Oh my gosh, that just brightens my soul. Like
yeah,
he's a Michael Phelps in the
yeah.
come on, Joseph is going to go to the Olympics, and you guys are going to recall that we had the
This
suspension in
moment.
2023. Yes, and when he gets that medal, I'm gonna say I know him.
And it's funny that you said swimming and initiative. We actually in New York they have a similar thing. It's called was it Black People Will Swim? So it's a very similar initiative, and there are, I think by was it by the year 2024 they wanted to get, I want to say 2,000 or something people, Black people, to learn how to swim.
Wow,
But I actually this book right here,
safety
Safety First,
first.
is all about pool safety and water safety. Because when I used to go to, I mean, now we have a pool, but sometimes we still go to the pool because Joseph just likes it. When I would go to the pool with him and his friends, I saw a lot of stuff going on. Like these children, these
Mhm.
children, they need some guidance. They
Right.
need this. I mean, they had me on edge. It's like, oh my goodness, someone's gonna hurt themselves. As a matter of fact, my son, I don't know how old he was. He was coming down the water slide, and this little girl was still, they tell you exit right away. And this is a local pool, and she's holding on for dear life like this. The lifeguard did not see. Joseph comes down, they collide, and now he has a bloody nose.
Oh goodness.
So, yes, things like that that we talk about in the book.
And safety
Jojo
first.
being, he's really excited to go to the town pool. His grandfather's taking him, but he has all these ideas that are not necessarily safe, or they aren't safe at all, that he wants to do. So it's like, are you going to be? His mindset is, am I going to be able to have fun and still abide by the rules. And at the end of the book is a short list. Of course, it's much more of water safety tips for the
Oh, I
beach,
love
the pool,
that.
and the lake. And this is the
Okay.
Amazon seasonal favorite.
Okay, definitely. And her books are on Amazon, right? And
Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and my website. Yes.
okay, okay,
Yes.
we'll come back to
We'll
that
come
because
back to that
yeah,
later.
yeah. Before I get too far ahead there. Okay, all right. So Black People Swim, and that's an initiative in. Did you say New York?
Yes, yes.
New
It's
York.
based out of Long Island.
Okay, okay. So perfect. Now you did mention about Howard. That's Now I don't know if everyone saw that or not, but that speaks so many volumes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how old you are, Miss Tracy, but I've never seen anything in the history like
Me
that
neither.
ever,
Me
and I'm so proud of Howard and their swim
neither.
team and what they're
Yes.
doing because it really just. Sometimes I feel like people don't understand that you plant just a little bit of a seed in someone
Mm-hmm.
and that inspires them to look at things differently.
Yep.
And by Howard having a swim team, that's going to encourage more children, more teens to get into the water so I can be just like them. You know.
Yeah, and the thing is that Howard, well, there's a swim team that's coming to another HBCU in 2024, Delaware
Okay.
State. They're gonna have their a swim team, but a lot of the swim programs at the HBCUs, the historically Black colleges and universities, were done away with due to funding. And
Hmm.
Howard was the last one left, and the coach, who was his name, Nick Askew, he came because he was a swimmer at Howard way back, not way back, but before this time. He
Hmm.
came and he revamped the whole program a few years ago, and now they're just like they are forced to be reckoned with. The men division actually won they won the Northeast Conference.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
I
And
saw
them
that.
being on that Sports Illustrated cover.
I need to go buy that. I've never bought that, but I feel like I need to go buy it. Hopefully,
Mhm.
is it for this month or was it for February?
I think it was for February.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I'll
I think it was
have
for
to get that
February.
because that's
Mhm.
something you need to definitely collect.
Mhm.
Now, you mentioned that Joe is taking lessons. It's called speed.
Yes, it's strength and endurance training and
Okay,
agility for athletes. A lot of athletes do it. So he's
okay.
doing
I
that as
wanted to
well.
write that down, and
Mhm,
it's a speed class, and that's it. Okay,
mhm.
gotcha. I'm taking my little notes here. Okay, so now how old is Joe now? Because I know you
Yeah.
said back in the day. How old is he?
Yeah, he turned 13 March 1st. So
Oh,
I'm a teenager.
she said, "Oh God, he's a teenager." Oh my gosh. Wait, hold on. Don't start crying. It's okay. It's okay.
He's my one and only. So I was like,
Oh my gosh. And he's a March baby.
he's
Oh,
a
that's so
March, he's a
awesome.
Pisces. How
Yeah,
appropriate is that?
right. It's only fitting. It's
Yeah,
only fitting.
yeah,
That is fun. That is funny. So congratulations to him turning 13.
yes,
Oh, so
yes.
mom just breathe through it. It's okay. Before you know it, yeah. And time will go by too fast.
It will.
So March is also National Reading Month.
It is.
And so
Yeah.
with your real life adventures and the books that you publish and then
Mhm,
your publishing company,
mhm.
how important is it to you for children to read?
It is crucial that they read. Reading it is like there's so many benefits. But for it develops your critical thinking.
Hmm.
It helps with vocabulary, it helps the cognitive skills, it helps even with stress. It Oh my goodness, there's just so many benefits of reading, even sleep. It's so important. And a lot of the issues that children might be having, if it's, whether it may be they're having issues in math or other things, it's always goes back to reading. So reading is crucial. And I know I have a lot of parents, I hear, oh, my child doesn't like to read. So there are things that you can do to get your child to read more, because I feel that a lot of parents are thinking traditional books. I got to have my child to read a traditional book. I got to have my child to read. If they're in third grade, oh, I need my child to read on the third grade level. She keeps reading the same book from first grade over and over again. But that's okay as long as she's reading. Um, you want to make sure that your children are reading, um, they're engaged. You want them to be engaged. So you want to make sure that they're excited about what they're reading. So that could be graphic novels for older kids and even those who are like upper elementary. And a graphic novel is almost like a comic book. So it's a combination of pictures and words. And it's set kind of like a comic book style. That's great. Comic books as well too. Let them choose what they want to read. If they're interested in Minecraft, there's plenty of Minecraft books, both fictional and non-fictional. If they're interested in rocks, if they're interested in video games, so many video gamers have published books, both fictional and non-fictional. My son, I remember this is like a few years ago. We went to Barnes and Noble, and he got this Pokemon because he's the big Pokemon person still to this day. He got this big Pokemon manual that tells him, okay, this is what you can do with the Pokemon. It gives you suggestions and tips on how to play the game.
Wow.
So it's just, you just can't think traditional. And even ebooks. Ebooks are a great thing. Magazines. There are actually still children's magazines out there. There's Cricket, there's
Really?
Twilight, there's National Geographic Junior, there's Sports Illustrated Junior, and there's some other ones I didn't name. So there are still magazines out there for children. And sometimes it could be like, oh, they can get intimidated by the size of a book. So let them get a magazine and let them read that article.
Hmm. Okay.
Audiobooks, that's a big thing too. My son, a couple of years ago, when he would read the book for the school, his school that he used to go to, he would read along with the audio. So he would find the audio on YouTube and then he would read along with that. And that helped not only visually he's getting it, but in his mind he's getting it too. So he's getting that visual and he's getting the other thing, excuse me, other thing as well too.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Now that's different because, I guess I'm considered old school.
Yeah.
But when they started coming out with Audible, I'm like, so I have to listen to somebody read. But I do get it. I know that it can change
Mhm.
a lot of things, but I like that to be able to read with it and
Yeah.
listen to it at the same time. That
Right.
does help.
Right,
So
tactile. That's why I couldn't. I had a brain freeze. Tactile learner for the tactile learner. So someone who learns visually, someone learns by doing. So that engages those senses.
okay, definitely. I love those. Now I wanted to share when you have mentioned that there's still children's magazines out there. My
Hmm.
favorite, and I don't know if it still exists. Fingers crossed. Are the highlights?
Yeah, that's still around. That is
Okay,
still around. In fact, I actually subscribe to it.
I'm doing okay.
I
I need to
do. Yeah.
subscribe.
I
Listen,
like. I love highlights.
let
Yes.
me try to sign up for those.
Mhm.
I don't have I don't have children, but well, I'm gonna tell it anyway. So I signed up for this program that sends
Mhm.
you free books.
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna say what it is. The Dolly Parton Imagination, whatever her program's called,
Oh yes, yes,
where
yes.
she sends you free books for the kid. And so
Mhm.
I was like, oh, and so I signed up and I put Reginald McKnight on there, Reginald McKnight Jr. And so when my husband got the book, he said, who is Junior? Listen, I know I just confessed. It's okay.
It's
But
all right.
I'm
It's all
proud.
right.
I'm proud to get those books, and so I pass them on, to give them to
Mhm.
someone else. But I just feel like, hey, I wanna be a part. So
Yeah.
thank you for letting me know that I can subscribe to highlights because I
Yes,
will
you
definitely
did.
do
Yeah.
that.
Yep, there's Highlight. Oh, Cricket. That's the other one. I don't have it with me, but Cricket
Cricket.
and Jack
Okay.
and Jill. Those are other magazines. Hmm.
Okay. Okay. I
Hmm.
like that. See, it's good to have some resources out there because I
Yeah.
do have nieces and nephews.
Okay. Even
Um,
if they're reading a cookbook,
okay. Right.
and
That's
that
true.
incorporates math. So.
Right. It
Mhm.
does. It does. Now, I will say, when you had said from the beginning that
Mhm.
parents are concerned about teaching their kids how to read or encouraging them to read,
Mhm.
I did notice it on your website. It didn't pop up this time, but if you subscribe to your website, you send out like tools that they can use. Is that right?
Yes, yes, I've developed a free reading strategies guide
Okay.
for parents. So it's how to turn a reluctant reader into a bookworm. So it talks about, coming from a mom perspective, I get it, I understand. And it gives you different resources and different tools you can use to help engage your children and get them to read more. Right now, it is in English, but I am in the process of translating it to Spanish and then hopefully Haitian Creole and French.
Wow. Okay. I
Yes,
like
yes.
that. I like that. Okay, so make sure you guys go to her website. We'll tell you the website later. But that's a tool that you can definitely use
Mhm.
because it is important for children to learn how to read. You know, my mom's a school teacher,
Okay,
so
okay.
she teaches third grade, and so one thing that frustrates her a lot is when the children come into her class and some of them don't even really know how to write their names.
Mhm, mhm,
They don't just know basic words like
mhm.
cat and
Right,
book. And by the time you get in the third grade, you should know
yes,
those words.
you
And
should.
so I've noticed that certain cultures, they start with their children very, very young,
Mhm, mhm,
very young, to
mhm.
where they know those sight words. And so by the time they even go to kindergarten, they're already advanced. And
Right.
I just feel like we need to get our mindset on
Mhm.
getting them out in front of these
Yes.
devices,
Mhm,
because we put them in front of a tablet
mhm,
and that's all they know. And so then
mhm.
if you asking them to do something, they can't produce, they can't articulate what they're
Right.
trying to say or even get their words across.
Mhm,
So I'm hoping that this will inspire a young parent or either a parent that's having a child right now that that's having some issues with
mhm,
reading,
mhm.
and to use this program to help them to start reading a lot more.
Definitely, definitely. And I think technology has its place because
Hmm.
there are those educational software, educational programs that you can use, but everything is in moderation and you have to supplement it with personal engagement and personal touch. There's nothing that could substitute for being present. I had a live that I did with a friend of mine. She is a preschool teacher, pre-K teacher, and we talked about self-care and we got on the subject of being present for our loved ones, especially being present for our children. It's key. It's key.
Definitely.
I know sometimes it's hard because you're trying to balance work and you have things you need to do, and your child is like, "Can you help me with my homework?" Or "I need to do this," or you just want a rest, and that's where it takes a village to raise a child.
Oh, I
You
like
know,
that term. Can you
that's
say
where
that
that
again?
comes in. It takes a village to raise a child, so that's where that comes in. Reach out for help.
Hmm.
Reach out
Definitely. I
for help.
love that.
Mhm.
I love that. So, excuse me. So, tell me about this publishing company.
Hmm.
Help.
So, yes, Annie Jean Publishing is a publishing company that I created when I first started writing. It is named in memory of both my grandmothers, my maternal grandmother. Her middle name was Jean. She was Norma Jean. And my paternal grandmother, her name was Annie Tracy. So I'm named after her as well too. So I took the two and I created Annie Jean Publishing. And I wanted it to be a company that celebrates diversity, where we have the whole package of engaging content for children.
Mm, I love that. So there is a history.
Mm-hmm.
Your well, I know they're not necessarily well, they are your ancestors. Your ancestors, and creating this legacy of
Mm-hmm.
greatness. Oh, I love that. I love that. I just, it just makes me all excited. So, with the publishing company, if there is an author out there
Mm-hmm.
that is wanting to write a book,
Mm-hmm.
are they able to publish through you, or how do they?
Yes,
How?
I'm actually just started opening up to publishing other people's books.
Okay,
So yeah, I just started. It was I don't want to say I was back and forth, but I think a few years ago when I first started, I was not at the place where I was ready to do so.
right. Okay,
But now I am. I'm actually working on. I have a client. I've been working with him, I think, a year and a half now, and I'm working on him with his memoir. He's an older gentleman and he kiteboards, he skis, and
okay.
he surfs. So his whole thing is if I can do it at my age, you can do it too. And he has all these cool adventures. I mean, he's been everywhere, South Africa,
Wow.
the Maldives, he's been to El Salvador, just so many different places. And he has funny stories and some stories you're like, oh my goodness, and a lot of encouraging ones as well too. So that's one. And I'm also publishing another book. A friend of mine, a fellow author, a Christian author, I'm publishing her Christian journal, Entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So that'll be, I think, June. We're set slated for June. So it's a great journal to give encouragement for Christian entrepreneurs out there. And it's 7 months of devotionals.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, 7 is complete. So
Yes, it
mm,
is. It is. Okay, so hopefully when these are released, they'll be
on my website,
on your
yes.
website. Okay.
Hmm.
All
Hmm.
right. So
Absolutely.
definitely look out for that. Now, are you anticipating on taking some more clients, or are you just kind of
I am. I
okay?
am.
I just want to make sure in case if I come across anyone, I say, "Hey, I
Yes,
know somebody."
yes. Especially children's books and children's. But I love, my clients that are doing the memoir and the journal, but especially children's book because that's my passion.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So, how long does it typically take with publishing? Like
Mhm.
if I have a book and I send it to you, like what's
Mhm.
our timeline that we're looking at? I know it's a lot of details with
Mhm.
editing and all of
Right.
that and illustrations and things. So,
Right. It really depends on the individual, how driven you are. It could take as short of a time as 3 months. It could take over a year. Traditional publishers, when you sign with a traditional publisher, and that's like Random House and Penguin Books and things like that. Say if I were to sign with Penguin Random House today, you wouldn't see that book on the shelves until 2 years later, maybe even three, because it's a whole process you have to go through. You're talking about the editing and the re-editing and the editing, the promotion, of course, illustrations, especially that's key. The illustrations. So there's a lot that goes into it. But for
wow.
someone who is looking to publish on their own or going a non-traditional route, it really depends on the individual and the person. How much editing do you need when that first manuscript is done? So
Okay.
yeah, it varies. And I will say that anyone publishing, um, particularly a children's book. I think the first thing people think about, which is fine, is the publish. I mean, not the publishing, the writing and the illustration and stuff. But honestly, one of the first things that you need to think about is the marketing. Who's your target audience? How are you going to reach out to them? Because there are millions of books out there. And yes, it's great to get it on Amazon and things like that, and Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, Target. But how are you going to let people know that the book is on the shelf?
Okay.
And then once you get past, because I think a lot of times too, people depend on their family and friends. Don't depend on your family and friends unless they're your target audience. Don't depend on them for book sales. How are you going to target people to know that your book is there? What problem is your book solving? So for me, the problem is I'm not only my books talk about social and emotional lessons. So my thing is my books make teaching life lessons and habits memorable for ages 3 to 9. But also it's the diversity in the books because a lot of people still have issues or problems finding books with diverse characters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you want to think about that. What problem are you solving with your book? And once you figure out what problem you're solving, how are you going to reach your target audience on a continual basis? So that's like one of the first things that you need to think about. And then of course the story is a whole nother thing. What your main character wants, what's getting in his or her way, what the problem is, and how will he or she resolve that problem.
Now you guys just received some tips.
And that's for any book, honestly, not just
Yeah,
children's book, but if you're writing a book for adults, it's the same thing. And it gets, of course, more complicated depending on what type of book you're writing, but that's the basic formula.
the basic form. Okay, so you
Hmm.
got to have an understanding of what you're doing, the marketing.
Hmm.
So it is a lot,
It
but
is.
I mean, you can achieve it.
Yes, you can. You
Yeah,
sure
okay,
can. Hmm.
definitely. I love that. Now, how many books have you written since? Oh, look at her face.
So I have 10, including my son's book. My son illustrated and I published, illustrated and wrote a book when he was 8. Where is it? It's called
Okay.
The Adventures of Rock, and it's about a young boy who goes on a mission to save his. I thought I had it here to save his parents from a very well-known frenemy.
Oh, friend of
Oh,
me.
here it is. I was like, I know I have it. So this is his book, The Adventures of
Okay.
Rock.
The
You see
Adventures of
the
Rock.
illustration when he yeah. And it was written by a kid for kids ages 3 to 9. And in the back, I think this is the first edition. The second edition has more puzzles, but in the back it has engaging activities for the children to do.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it
And
has
and Joseph wrote that one.
he did this. Yeah, when he was 8. That's him at 8.
Oh,
Yeah, he was also in martial arts black belt. He was part of the black belt club this year, but he had to put it aside because swimming got so demanding.
oh, okay. I like. So Joseph is an author too.
Joseph
Oh
is
my
awesome.
God.
So yes, you can definitely do it. You know,
Right, definitely.
definitely.
And that
Yeah,
book is pretty thick if you pay
yeah.
attention to
What,
that.
32 pages? Yeah, it's 32 pages.
Okay. And
Yeah.
that's the first edition.
This is the first edition. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, this is 20 something. The second edition is 32 pages.
Oh, okay.
Yep, because it
Okay.
has more puzzles and games and stuff in the back.
And I love how you have some interactive questions or puzzles,
Hmm.
to kind of make you think about what have I just read, to make
Yes.
you comprehend this
Hmm.
because that's what they do in school.
Hmm.
Well, and that's what my mom's always told me. I'm not a teacher, but um, that's what I've observed all these years. But it helps you to understand what did I just read,
Yes, definitely.
because that's what helps us to pass the test.
That's
Third
right.
graders, because I know they can be a headache too. Do they have you guys test where in the state where you are that you have?
It's what grade is it? Fourth grade, I think.
Oh,
I
they
know
have to go
fourth
to
grade
fourth
is
grade.
one. I don't know what other grade. Maybe fourth and eighth grade they had to take the state assessment test. But
Oh,
depending on what school, you don't have to go and take it because my son's been in private school. They take a different test than the New York State assessment.
oh, okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
okay. Yeah, so in the state of Oklahoma, they
Hmm.
do third grade,
Okay.
second to
Okay.
third grade. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I was in school, they did third grade, and that was fourth grade. I don't
Okay.
know.
Hey,
Hmm.
it works. I
Yeah,
don't.
there
I,
you go.
yeah. Oh my goodness.
So
So
yeah, I have 10. I'm also working on. I'm working on 2 middle grade books.
Oh, we're moving up to middle grade.
Yeah, I've been working on them for 4 minutes.
Okay.
One is a fantasy book. And the other one is was inspired again by my son, watching him now older, navigating between the two worlds because swimming is such a different world than where we live. So
Hmm.
I kind of did a book that talks is going to talk about this young man. He his brother died, and he became best friends with someone in school, but he gets recruited for the rowing team or something like that. I have it. And he starts hanging out with those friends. So now he's trying to figure out how to bring them together cohesively without anybody getting upset.
Ah,
And
wow.
it's copywritten. So
Oh my gosh. I love your creative style.
thank you.
I
My
really
husband equally is creative. He actually did all the music for the real life adventures of JoJo Bean. So we have songs to go with it. We have a video that he directed. Yeah, he
so
writes scripts
this
and
is a
plays.
family affair.
It's just a creative family.
Right. Did y'all hear that? The husband, the son, everybody. Like,
Yeah,
do you even have a pet? The pet probably even have a
we
part.
had a bet a
Okay.
long time ago. That's a whole nother. Okay, here we go. So when my son when my son was, I think he was 7, he must have been in first grade. He was begging for a pet, a hamster, or anything. We're like, no, because we had just lost our dog when he was, well, not lost. I mean, not that long ago. When my son was born, we lost a dog. We're like, we're done. We don't want any more pets. So we're like, Mommy, can I please have a pet? Can I have a trouble? Can I have a hamster? So we were going to the pet stores looking for a pet. And like, no, we can't do this. Not even a goldfish. So along comes Grandma.
Mm-mm.
It's like, oh, we're gonna get him a pet for his birthday. I mean, no, for Christmas. I'm like, oh my gosh, a rabbit. Let's get him a rabbit.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
how am I to talk her out? So here comes the rabbit, Rufus. Rufus was the cutest little thing. He was a lion head rabbit. So his face was actually in the fur here looked like a lion. And
Right.
Joseph was excited about Rufus. It was on, Christmas break. He took care of him and all that stuff. And then he got to go back to school. Did you change your rabbit's water? Did you feed the rabbit? Did you take him out to play? No, 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 no. A month later, a month or two later, Mommy, this is too hard. I'm too stressed. I can't take care of it. Like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? And so my mom said, I can't let him go. I don't want to see him go anyplace else and get abused. So the rabbit Rufus ends up back to my grandparents' house. I mean, my mom and dad's house, my son's grandparents, my mom and dad's. And so I wrote this book. I am not ready for bed.
I am not ready for a pet.
I know other parents go through this, okay? So
Right.
yeah, I'm not ready for a pet. So Twisty Tina, which is JoJo Bean's best friend, she is begging her parents to have a pet. And her mom is like, you are not ready for a pet. Her dad, just like, Dad. And so she gets an opportunity to show her parents she's ready for a pet when she is given the responsibility to take care of the class electronic dog
Oh,
as a class project. And that's all I'm gonna let.
yeah.
So you can imagine how that went. That's all I'm gonna
Right.
say. Does she get a pet in the end? You'll have to buy the book to
Oh
find.
my gosh.
But my point, yeah, that inspired. This was inspired by my son, and I have it in the book. I have to read you this part. This book is dedicated to Rufus, my son's first pet for 3 months because he wasn't ready for one.
Poor Rufus. What? And how is Rufus doing now? Does Rufus?
Rufus died.
Oh
He
darn.
got sick. Yeah, he
Okay.
died a few years ago. Yeah, it was
Oh
so
darn.
sad.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Well, at least he tried.
Yeah.
At least, at
Yeah.
least he tried. It's okay. And at least Rufus found a decent home and wasn't too far. And
Yeah.
it's funny that from that whole adventure you have created. Oh, this is a
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. It's like, what? What a book? What am I write a book? Let me write a book about it. That's what my son is like, Mommy and Daddy, how come every time we say something, y'all gotta write a book or write a song or something? enjoy the moment.
That is funny. Like, well, you just don't understand. This is
That's
helping
right.
someone else.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
So
yeah.
you
And then
have
I have a fantasy book that I know I'm probably skipping around a little, but I'm working on a fantasy book. That's a whole nother thing because you're talking about creating worlds and languages and all that stuff.
yes. Yes. So
Mhm.
that's book number 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
11,
Okay.
12, and then I have a couple ideas for a picture book. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah. Hmm.
Oh my goodness. So can you show us some of the books that you have? I know we
Yeah.
have the Safety First and
Safety
um
first. Delectable vegetable. This is the children's favorite too. I usually go to the schools, and this and safety first are the ones that I read in the Christmas code, which I'll show you later. So this is something else that the parents I know parents go through. Their children do not want to eat their vegetables. So
mhm.
in this book, Jojo Bean only wants to eat from three food groups: chicken nuggets, French fries, and cookies. And he comes up with this idea in order to avoid eating his vegetables for good.
Oh, not for good.
For good. For good. So will it work, or will his mom or anybody else be able to convince him to give vegetables a try?
Hmm.
That's that one. Kids love that. In fact, I did a virtual visit with a school in Maryland on this one because they were talking about healthy eating. And I'm going to my son's school to do a in-person visit with the younger grades with this book.
Okay.
There's the Christmas coat. So
Hmm.
in this book, Jojo Bean goes shopping with his dad for Christmas gifts, and like any kid, it's like me, me, me. So everything in the cart is for Jojo Bean, and his dad is like, put it back right now. And he meets a special friend in the store, and he learns what it means to be compassionate and kind to others
Oh,
during Christmas.
I
So
like
that's
it.
another favorite. Birthday Bubbles is the first book that I wrote,
Oh, that's
and
the very first one.
this is the very first one, and it has like
Okay.
CDs. Oh, the CD's not in here, but it has a CD in the back with the songs and the narration of the book. And in this one, Jojo Bean is celebrating his birthday. It's his fourth birthday. Yeah, his fourth birthday in school with his friends, and he wishes upon a magical bubble that he could celebrate it every day. And so he learns the consequences of making the right decision. So you can imagine what happens in that one.
Not every day. Not
Every, every day. First book. And there is Park Blues. So Jojo Bean is at the park with his friends, and he's bored.
Hmm.
And out of his boredom, he comes up with an idea that is gets him into a bit of trouble. So everyone has to come together and figure out how to get Jojo Bean out of this trouble that he's found himself in.
Uh-oh.
And then I have this. This is people love this around Thanksgiving, the ABC of Thanks activity book. So each letter stands for something related to kindness, compassion, being a blessing to each other or other people, and then there's different activities for each letter.
Oh, that's cute. Okay.
And then there's the Birthday Bubbles book. Oh, it came out because of this green that goes along with the Birthday Bubbles book. And then Joseph's book, and then my chapter book.
Oh
And
my
then I have a
goodness.
coloring book. I don't have any more left for Halloween. And that's it
So
for now.
you have a coloring book too?
Uh
Did,
oh.
did you say did you say a coloring book?
Yes, the Halloween coloring book.
Oh, okay. You
Mhm.
know, coloring is so therapeutic.
It
So
is. It is.
anyone can color.
I have a few coloring books myself.
Right. So we can all use this.
That's right. That's
Oh
right.
my, so what one other question. Have
Mhm.
you heard of Black Children's Book Week?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Perfect. I love that initiative. I haven't met this young lady yet, but I follow her on Instagram.
Okay.
And so I've been inspired. I said, we need something like this in Oklahoma. And so I'm going to work on this because she's already put out the date for next year. So
Okay.
I'm excited for this. So how are you able to use the book week in the state where you live?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I was hoping to participate this I was going to participate in that this year, but then it conflicted with my son's swimming schedule because this
Okay.
around this time is championship meets. So it wasn't going to allow me to really be available.
Okay.
We've been
Okay.
traveling so much with his swimming. We've been to upstate, like 7 hours away. We've been 2 hours away. We've just been on the road a lot.
Been on the road. Okay. Well, that's all right. That happens when you're in the middle of training a champion.
That's right.
Well, I wanted to throw that out there because I've been telling so many people about it, and I said I'm going to do my part to try to get something like that here,
Yeah.
um, where we could have authors and books and all of that because we have some great authors here in Oklahoma too, that need to be informed about what's going on and to share this information with other people too. So
Right.
I just wanted to throw that out there. But good, you already know her. That's perfect. So tell us what is your website? How can they go
Okay.
and purchase
Mhm.
your beautiful products and upcoming things that are happening?
Yeah, so my website is www dot trace Wilkins Francis, and Wilkins is with an I, Francis is with an I.com. So when
Okay.
you go to it, it'll switch over to Ann and Jean Publishing since I own Ann and Jean Publishing, but soon I'll be separating the two. But that's my website. It has all my information about it. It has information about my author visits. It has information if you're interested in purchasing my books in bulk, because a lot of schools and organizations are. Um, it's the pricing is on there. Is information about the books themselves, of course, some video testimonies and all that stuff.
Okay.
So if you go to the website, the you'll be able to opt into my email newsletter where I send out content with helpful tips with parents to parents and educators and anyone who signs up the email list about reading strategies and engaging the whole child. As a matter of fact, when did I start that? From November through June, I've been doing monthly lives, my parent empowerment series, I call it. So the first series that I did, it was with a teacher, a friend of mine, and we talked about how to find engaging activities and books for children and how to engage them. My second live, I had a math tutor on there. In fact, she's my son's math tutor, and we talked about the math myth and we debunked the math myth and we talked about the connection between reading and math. Next month, I'm going to do one with this phenomenal lady. She's financial guru, financial literacy for children. And then I'm hoping that I'm able to get another friend on of mine to do a live about illustration. So that'll be talking about pictures worth 1,000 words.
Oh, neat. Now, where can they see these lives on your
Oh
social
yeah,
media?
on my social media platform. So if you go to Trace, spell Trace, of course, Trace Wilkins Francis, comma author, you'll be able to find them there. But once it is over, it won't be available. It would only be available in my private group called JoJo Bean Reading Frenzy. So if you sign up for my private group, you'll always have access to it. For
Oh,
the replays, I usually take them. One I think is still up now, but I usually take them down within 48 hours and just keep it available for the group only.
okay. And that's a group through Facebook.
Yes, yes, it's a group through Face group that I created. And Frenzy is spelled is JoJo Bean or JoJo Beans. JoJo Beans reading friend with the Z at the end. So reading frenzy.
Oh, okay. Reading Frenzy. Okay, perfect.
Actually, I have a special guest who wants to pop in.
There's always a one little special guest.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Am I on TV?
Yes, you are. And what's your name?
My name. You don't remember your name?
Oh, you're shy.
My name is JoJo Bean.
Hey, Jojo. I'm V.
Hi,
Nice.
hi, Miss
Hi.
B.
Yes, Miss V. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, that is so adorable. And
Hey, bye.
okay, bye bye. Oh my gosh, I love it. I absolutely love that. It has been an amazing time talking to you.
Same here. Same.
I truly enjoyed this, and I'm hoping that I can get you to come back, and maybe
Yes,
I can. I don't know. We can have some other type of series. I don't know. We can do something, but
definitely.
this will not be the last time that I hear from you or from JoJo. So we can keep this ball rolling. And I do appreciate you sharing all the wonderful things that you're doing with your publishing company, with the books and everything. Oh, I have one other question. On your website, it says a virtual um,
Free
author.
visit. Yes, yes, the offer. So, for in honor of National Reading Month,
Oh,
I'm offering a free virtual visit with myself for 35 minutes in JoJo Bean with just 20 purchases of my books. So, the purchases don't have to be necessarily from one organization. For example, if you have a daycare, you're like, well, I can't buy all those books. You have parents, so the parents can buy it, as long as it's a minimum of 20 or more books.
wow,
Mhm.
20 or more books, and this is for the whole month of March.
This is for the whole month of March, but the offer expires March 28th. And
March.
it's good through, you don't have to book it right now. You have 2 months to actually book the visit, the virtual. And the virtual visits are fun as well, too. So, and it's a great way. I don't, what was I going to say? I, my goodness, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. But it's a great way to bring um, these books into the classroom.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. I
that-
like that. So they can book it until March 28th, and then you can schedule it 2 months from.
yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
No.
I'll be in contact.
Okay.
I'm always thinking of something like, oh, stop it. But hey, that's you can't miss that.
Creative mind, creative mind. So
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Okay, so before I know I can talk a lot. I think I have covered
it's
everything. I believe I have everything covered. But it's been such a pleasure to talk to you.
same here, and I love the work that you're doing. I see
Thank
you all the
you.
time on social media. Like it's beautiful, and it's definitely needed.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And you're on Facebook and
I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I am on Twitter. I don't
okay,
use Twitter as much, and I'm on LinkedIn, but mostly definitely Facebook is the most. I use that the most, and then Instagram. So
and then
definitely those
Instagram.
2
Okay.
platforms. Yep.
And they can follow you at Tracy Wilkins Francis.
It's comma author. Yeah.
Okay, comma author. Okay, so make sure you guys go and follow her on social media. Go and support. You know, you have grandchildren, nieces, nephews, all of these little bitty people that need to read. Okay, so go and support because you need to, and this is most definitely needed. But thank you again, Tracy. I
Yeah.
appreciate you taking the time, and it's been a pleasure. And you know, I'll be in contact with you.
Okay.
And hopefully, I'm gonna send some people your way as far as publishing books and getting things out.
I
And I'm
appreciate
gonna see. I'm gonna ask my mom if she gonna order some
it.
books. She don't know yet, but she'll find out when she hear this. So, all right, so everyone, thank you for listening to Share the Tea Tuesdays. Don't forget to follow Share the Tea LLC on social media, which is at Share the Tea with V. And always remember to be intentional, be insightful, and be impactful in everything that you do. And thank you guys for listening. Until then, I'll see you next week, or you'll hear me next week. All right, bye, guys.